Let's connect then with Arvind Thakur, the VC and MD at NIIT Tech, to talk about the numbers. And thanks so much for joining in. What about, the impact this time around that we've seen, the one-offs that you've witnessed this time around? You seem to be doing fairly well in individual verticals like BFS and travel, but the growth overall was softer due to the GIS impact.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. As you know, our GIS business peaks in the fourth quarter because it's predominantly focused on doing business with the government. But this year, in this quarter, we've seen the announcement of the general elections, which has led to the imposition of the code of conduct, which has impacted government procurement. That's the reason why we have seen a decline in revenues in GIS, which traditionally grows very strongly in this quarter, and that is the reason why we have seen an impact in the fourth quarter of this year.
Okay. Digital accounts for 30% of your revenues, and it's grown at 45% in FY19. You think momentum is going to continue with this 35 to 40% growth rate, and our margins here better than the company's average?
Yes, absolutely. We are seeing very strong momentum in our digital business, and our whole fundamental strategy to engage with the market is to engage with the emerging. And the reason why we've been so successful is that we've been able to transform our clients' business at the intersect of these new technologies and the industry verticals that we focus on. So not only are we going to see growth and strength in the capabilities, we've also recently announced the definitive agreement in which we're going to be acquiring another digital firm, Wishworks, which has strong capability around a platform called MuleSoft, which is the world's leading digital integration tool. So all these factors are going to contribute to further improvement in the momentum of our digital business. Okay,
fair enough. Your executable order book over 1 year stands at about $390 million. What kind of revenue in cross-currency terms are you penciling in for FY20? Is it going to be mid-teens or above that, and how broad-based will it be?
Well, as you know, as a policy, don't give specific guidance. But since you pointed towards order executable over the next 12 months, that's a lead indicator. That's grown over 15%, at 15% over the same time last year. And you would have seen that our order intake has been growing consistently every quarter. This quarter it was $170 million. About 8 quarters ago, it was $110 million. So we've seen good momentum in terms of growth, in terms of acquisition of new business. So we will see continued growth in our business.
Okay. Your EBITDA margins came off because of the soft revenue growth. There was a one-off charge, and I guess rupee appreciation also played its part. Adjusting for these, your EBITDA margins would have been about 18.1%. How do you see them reading in the first quarter and the second quarter amid headwinds of visa cost, wage hike, talent supply issue, etc.?
Well, if you actually adjust even for currency, in constant currency terms, it would actually be 18.3%. So EBITDA has been quite healthy during the quarter. But obviously, as you know, in the first quarter, there are other expenses associated with the wage hikes and visa fees and so on. So traditionally, there's a dip in margins in the quarter. But over the year, we've always seen margins expand and grow back to the levels that we've been seeing in the last couple of years. So we expect a dip in the first quarter. But through the year, we expect to see an expansion in margins.
Fair enough. Your Q4 fresh deal wins are at about $170 million. and they continue to rise. You've got 2 large deals that are included. How are they spread across your key markets like the US and the rest of the world?
So if you look at our order intake of 170 million US dollars, 90 million has come from the US, 45 million from EMEA, and 35 million from the rest of the world. And these 2 large deals, one of them has been in the travel and transport space, and the other is in the BFS space. So that should give you a flavor of the kind of intake we have had in this quarter.
All right. And you've also been strengthening your senior leadership. There have been 2 recent hires from Accenture and Virtusa. Can you tell us what the management strategy is, particularly with Baring PE Asia now in the cockpit, and the update on the open offer?
Well, as you have seen, our leadership team has been steadily strengthened with the induction of the new CEO who came into the company in May 2017. So Sudhir Singh joined the company as CEO designate in May 2017 and was the CEO in January 2018. And through this tenure, we've been adding a lot of senior talent, particularly from tier 1 organizations. And the latest, that you just talked about has been additions to strengthen our IMS and cloud services capability. Vamsi would be leading that business, and Srikanth has joined us to lead our incessant business. As you know, that's a business that we acquired in 2015, and the founders would be moving on. So Srikanth would be the person now who will be in charge of the incessant business. So a good addition of leadership talent through the last 2 years, which has really created a strong platform for growth for the company going forward.
We'll let you go on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and giving us a viewpoint on your overall metrics as well as the quarterly earnings gone by. That's NIIT Tech for you.